Hello again, Cheryl-Ann Webster, creator of the Beautiful Women Project. And today I would like to introduce you to As the Wind Blows. As the wind blows. The winds of life may blow you in many directions. Times of calm allow you to stop and assess where you are and where you wish to go. When As the Wind Blows volunteered to be cast for my project, one of the things I had to come to terms with was the fact that she was in a wheelchair. Now, don't get me wrong, that part itself wasn't a problem. It was how do I do the cast so that I could create a very good clay sculpture later on, but at the same time not get any of my casting materials on her chair. While I was busy brainstorming how I could do this, she stopped me and said, "You don't understand. If I do this, I want to stand for the casting." Well, that was fine with me, but could she stand for 20 minutes? That's one thing she wasn't sure about. We put a couple of things in place. I got her permission to have somebody help me. Not necessarily to do the whole casting, but to at least pass me supplies and be there if she needed support. We also laid cushions down on the floor, just in case anything happened, as well as provide a chair nearby for support and to sit on as she needed it to. But boy, can I tell you, As the Wind Blows was determined, and she stood for the whole process. And I made the fastest cast I have ever done. Now, when I first removed the cast and showed it to her, she was really surprised. In her words, she said, "I don't look twisted and crippled." Well, no, she doesn't, because from what I can see, she isn't. But she was really surprised by that. We talked about it and how it impacted her, and really how her diagnosis and her physical condition had sort of become a label for who she is, which of course is not the case. I didn't see As the Wind Blows for the next 2.5 years. In fact, I hardly saw anyone because I was in my studio working full time, making sure I could take the plaster casts into clay sculptures ready for exhibit. But at the first exhibit, As the Wind Blows came in. I was busy talking to somebody as I saw her wheeling around the exhibit looking for her sculpture. I was surprised when she just wheeled straight on by it. She went round a second time and still didn't see it. After a few more minutes, I managed to break away from one conversation and go and greet her. She said, "I'm a little disappointed that I'm not included in the exhibit." Everybody's included in the exhibit. If I took a cast of you, your clay sculpture is in the exhibit. In fact, even if one of the clay sculptures blew up in the kiln, I repaired it so nobody was left out. So I knew for sure As the Wind Blows was in the exhibit. I also knew she'd gone by it twice. I took her over to her sculpture to show her, and once more she was really surprised. She was quite convinced she would recognize her sculpture. In fact, we're all quite convinced we'll recognize our own bodies when in actual fact we don't. You see, perception and reality can often be very different, and most certainly was in this case. When As the Wind Blows looked up at her sculpture hanging on the wall, she said, "Wow, it doesn't look twisted and crippled." She then asked me if I altered it. Well, no, I didn't alter them. I don't alter any of them. I add decoration, but I'm very careful not to alter the shape or form of each and every sculpture. As the Wind Blows has been so inspirational to all the gallery visitors for that very reason. It's a way to check in on how different is your perception of yourself and the reality of your physical form. Now you will see on As the Wind Blows, I have painted a tree. In fact, I carved it into the clay. The branches are twisted and turned, because that's how the wind blew them. As the Wind Blows taught me that yes, outside influences, physical health, emotional well-being does shape how we live our lives. So does how we identify. And as the wind blows, our branches do bend. but they don't have to break. They may bend and be shaped, but at some point they may be shaped again. That when we accept and love and understand ourselves for the reality and see ourselves as we truly are and embrace the wonder that we are, then we can better cope with those twists and turns that life gives us and bend with them and remain flexible so that we don't break. I'm so pleased I could introduce you today to As the Wind Blows. You don't want to miss out on one of the stories, so remember to like and subscribe. Thanks very much for all your support. Take care. Cheryl-Ann Webster.com